You have found Authentic Business Adventures, the business program that brings you the struggle stories and triumphs and successes of business owners across the land. My name is James Kademan, entrepreneur, author, speaker, and helpful coach to small business owners across the country. Today we are welcoming / preparing to learn from Tom Johnson, the sales administrator for Fearing's Audio, Video, and Security in Madison, Wisconsin. So Tom, how are you doing today?
Doing great, James. Thank you.
I'm excited to talk with you because you have had a sales career that spans decades, right?
Yeah, well, yeah.
So let's start with where you're at now, and let's just kind of work backwards from there. Does that sound fair?
Or the reverse, whichever.
Well, the initial is Fearing's, where you're at now.
Right.
What do they do at Fearing's, or what do you guys do at Fearing's, I should say?
Sure. We're a low voltage technology integrator.
Okay.
And that's a nice way of saying we do low voltage wiring, which means if you can lick the wires and not get electrocuted,
all right,
that's what we do.
Like, hopefully people don't go around doing that. But.
No.
All right.
We work in audio, video, security, and automation.
Okay.
And we'll do conference rooms like we're in this conference room right now.
Yeah.
We'll do security systems, exterior cameras, interior cameras, access systems, fob systems in our buildings.
Okay.
A multitude, and I'm going to get into a bit later about exactly what we do.
Right.
But we do try to make people's lives more efficient and more secure.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like it. And what was your first sales job?
Well, 16 years old, I started my own sign rental company.
Sign rental.
Right.
Oh.
It's called S&G Signs.
Okay. I got to hear about this.
Yeah. And I pulled these big yellow blinking arrow signs behind my car and would leave them at like the little local restaurant, and they'd have a big grand opening or whatever, and I would rent the signs and take them down and so forth, and tried to prevent a lot of vandalism because people mixed up the letters on them. That was kind of interesting sometimes.
So you're talking about the signs you used to see all the time with the letters that you could slide on with the arrow on the top, kind of built into the frame?
Exactly right, yeah.
So you bought some of those to rent them out?
Yeah, I had my own business called S&G Signs, and 16 years old, I'd rent them out. And
wow. So how many signs did you have?
I had two.
Two, okay.
Yeah.
And what was the triggering event for you to be like, I'm going to start a sign rental company?
My father was in the newspaper business, and we were down at the newspaper convention in Iowa, and one of the publishers had this sign business and got talking about it, and it was one of those hot things at the time, so I jumped in. And
so when your first sale, you walk into this restaurant, you're like, hey, I'm a 16-year-old punk kid. I'm going to rent my sign out to you. Do they laugh at you, or are they like, bring the sign over, let's do this?
Well, I worked at the newspaper also. I sold advertising in the newspaper.
Okay.
So I knew when their sales and everything was coming up, so I'd be able to get there in advance and say, hey, if you're having a grand opening coming up, how about a little extra pop for your, traffic is driving by here in this busy road, so.
Nice.
Yeah.
How long did that last?
Through high school, so I helped pay for some college.
All right.
Yeah.
So you made some money at it?
Oh, yeah.
And did you ever, what was the deciding factor for closing up shop?
Going to college.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So it didn't make enough for you to be like, screw college?
No.
All right.
No.
But it was still lucrative?
Yeah, it was at the time, so
I
don't think any more of that would work, because all the video, this and that, in fact, what I'm doing right now would be a direct competition with
You're going to put those guys out of business.
I'm still in the sign business, sort of.
Yeah. Hey, you don't see those little arrow signs anymore.
No.
Interesting. They probably can't get employees to change the letters.
Right. And then from there, I went to school and came back and was publisher at the local newspaper in Northeast Iowa called Wakan, the Wakan Standard.
All right.
And ran the newspaper as a publisher for a few years, and then the news publishing company out of Mount Horeb purchased our company.
Oh.
And I was retained as general manager, and then we acquired some other newspapers in Northeast Iowa, and I was busy running newspapers, and then they also had print shops, so we had printing shops in Waukon and Elkader, Iowa.
Can you, just as far as the timeline goes, are we talking 80s, 90s here? Where are we at?
80s, right.
Okay,
yeah.
So pre-internet. I don't know,
pretty much.
For all the viewers that don't know what a newspaper is.
Very funny.
Well, I mean, you'd be surprised.
Yeah?
I I had an employee yesterday ask me what a PDF was.
Okay.
And it was just one of those, like, what do you mean you don't know what a PDF is? You've been around computers since you worked here, a couple of years, whatever. And she clicks,
Yeah.
And stuff opens magically, but she didn't know what it was. Like, it's just a document to her.
Yeah.
So the phrase PDF was just right over her head. And it was
Crazy.
bizarre, like, oh my gosh, how come I didn't ask you that in the interview? So
Yeah, yeah,
sometimes you don't know what people know necessarily.
exactly.
hmm
Sure.
So 80s newspaper, I imagine that was one of the primary ways people advertised.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, radio, and in a northeast Iowa, in a small, rural community, there wasn't a lot of options for advertising. So
No.
yeah,
And internet wasn't a thing.
no, it was
And
just
I
the
imagine-
infancy. Yep.
I imagine billboards in a small town aren't exactly
Yeah.
everywhere.
Right.
So you guys had to be prime, at least for local targeting, because I imagine, was there a TV station?
Well, there's a shopper. The other newspapers had shoppers that come in,
Okay.
and there was other print competition, and then a local radio station started up right in our midst, and
Oh, really?
yeah.
All
yeah,
right. So it's a decent sized town.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Playing Iowa music, whatever that is.
Exactly.
I was born in Iowa, so I shouldn't complain or joke too much. But anyway, so newspaper, and it's going well at the time, I imagine?
Like I said, the news publishing had purchased the walk-on property, and they had an opening over here in the Madison area for their weekly newspapers for a sales manager.
Oh,
So I came over and I was a sales manager for the Mount Horeb Mail, the Middleton Times, New Glarus, Sauk City, Montallo, a bunch of different weekly newspapers out here
All right.
in the area. So that kind of brought my wife Gail and myself out here.
so you were married to Gail back in Iowa,
Mm-hmm.
and you said, hey, Gail, let's move over by Madison.
Well, the opportunity came up and
Okay.
looked pretty appealing. So
All right. And she was cool with it?
Oh yeah, she's from Chicago, so she's
Okay.
really cool with it.
All right. Let's get out of Iowa.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Very cool. And the newspaper business in this area, how did that differ from the Iowa area?
Not a lot.
No, okay.
It was, well, being in the shadow of Madison, the weekly newspapers have a different flavor in how they posture the news and what they're looking to do and so forth. It's, in northeast Iowa, there's no other big city around. La Crosse is, half hour, 45 minutes away, so.
All right.
But it was, newspapers were newspapers back then, of course.
Okay.
And all the things went with it, and it was the infancy of internet, so that made life interesting.
Yeah.
Newspapers are trying to figure that out at the early stages of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You could argue they still are a little bit, I guess.
Yeah,
Interesting. All right.
yeah.
And then you decided to get out of there.
Yeah, newspapers are getting a little bit tough, and I had an opportunity with the Dish TV, DirecTV dealership here in Madison, and the sales manager for that, so I worked on the Dish TV, DirecTV business.
All right.
Then I went to Kavanaugh Restaurant Supply.
Okay.
Kevin Kavanaugh and the crew, I helped with restaurant equipment and supplies for restaurants and food service, hospitality, and so forth. And that was a whole different learning curve, of course, but
Nice.
super interesting.
I want to back up a step to the Dish TV stuff. 'Cause I don't know how long you were there. I got, I don't know if it was Dish, it was some satellite thing, where I was applying for a job, I remember, years ago.
Okay.
And I was a cold caller.
Ah,
And I remember the manager, trainer guy, looking over my shoulder as I'm going to make my first call. And I'm looking over the script, and I'm looking over what I'm selling, and I was thinking, I wouldn't buy this. And so I had a really hard time with it,
yeah,
because I was trying to sell something that I didn't believe in.
right.
And I don't even know if I made it 3 phone calls, and I was just like, you know what, this isn't for me.
Yeah.
I gotta go.
Yeah.
So tell me, I mean, you're managers, so I imagine you're having to deal with the punks like me
Well,
that come in there saying, I'm gonna sell satellite TV, whatever.
it was a great experience. We were one of the chosen dealers for Dish TV to represent Dish TV at the state fair.
Oh, wow.
So we were over in the state fair, and I think it's 11 days or 10 days, 12, 13-hour days on your feet.
Oof.
Have 1 million people go through there, and you're selling them Dish TV systems and so forth. It was a great
All right.
experience that way.
So you were selling them there, or you just capturing
we'd-
leads?
We'd
to-
sell the packages there, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's cool.
You signed up at the fair, you get a special deal or
Right.
whatever it might be, some more. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it was good. And then we started changing a little bit from residential in that business to apartments.
Oh.
Big buildings where you could put one dish on the roof and then serve the entire apartment complex. So
All right.
bring that dish TV or direct TV signal into all those different apartments. So in Madison, that was really starting to take off.
That
So
seems like a smart idea. Sometimes now you look at a fourplex or eightplex, and there's 50 satellite dishes that may
Yeah,
or may not be
right.
current. It just
exactly.
looks kind of tacky, and I think, how many people drilled right into the roof?
Yeah, yeah,
Satellite dish for a year or whatever.
yeah.
Interesting. So from there, you go to Kavanaugh Restaurant Supply,
Right.
which is from B to C, now you're in B to B.
Yeah.
All right, so how did that work?
Oh, good. Like I said, Kevin Kavanaugh and Casey, the crew, they were just good, taking a greenhorn in and got to work a lot of shows, trade shows and so forth. And the restaurants around here are plentiful, of course, and we would serve not only Madison, but we'd go outside maybe an hour within Madison and serve different
Oh, wow.
restaurants. And so
Okay.
every day I was maybe one day in Stoughton, another day in Middleton, another day depending, whatever. But it was
Right.
great experience, and the food service business, those people, man, they work hard.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, it's like dairy cattle, they, 24/7 almost in that deal, so.
Tell me about the learning curve, because you're trying to sell equipment coming from satellite and newspaper. Now you got to learn what a hood, I don't know, were you guys selling hoods, or was it more
Sure.
like ladles
Oh, yeah.
and
No, we
pots
have
and
hoods
pans?
and- Yeah, walk-in coolers and all.
Oh, everything.
Oh, sure.
Big and little, everything to do with the restaurant, you
The
got it.
furniture, yeah, the tables and
Okay.
yeah.
So was the learning curve tough? So you knew what you were selling, or knew the nomenclature that people use?
The biggest thing I needed to learn was the food safety portion of it, where you're talking to restaurant owners and they have people's lives in their hands basically because they're wanting to serve safe and healthy foods, of course, and you need to kind of have a good basis on what that consists of
Yeah.
and match up then what they need for, the equipment and so forth.
That had to be a tough, I imagine, I guess this is just my experience from, I delivered beer for a while, and I delivered milk as well, I guess. When you go in these restaurants, and some of them you're thinking, how are you still in business? The overhead for equipment is so high right off the bat, huge capital.
Sure.
And then you got employees that aren't making a ton of cash.
Well, and it's a cash business, so you got to be
Yeah.
careful that watch that the till is not being dipped into, of course.
Right. Yeah, I
Well,
just
it's
looked
a
at,
tough business. Yeah.
I looked at places that were empty most of the time that I was in them. I looked at other places and I'm like, it's 5 in the morning and you're full. I remember delivering to bars that I was like, I didn't know you could be drinking at 5 in the morning, but
Not legally, maybe, but
yeah, well, small town Wisconsin, what are you gonna do?
exactly.
I was just delivering products, so I didn't care. But it was interesting how, I guess, from my point of view, I was looking for a rhyme or reason. Why is this bar or restaurant doing well,
Sure.
and the one 2 doors down is not? And the difference from what I saw, like when you're in the back end of it, the cooler looks the same, smells the same,
Well, yeah.
good or bad.
Yeah.
It was tough for me to figure out how some made it and how some didn't. And it was interesting because there are a lot of businesses that we would see that just were so behind on their bills, a lot of restaurants and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's tough business.
One of the wraps, yeah, for sure. And it's, you're at the whim of people, and when they go out to eat, they expect to be treated like kings, and
Yeah.
if they don't get that, service and everything, they can go so many other places in a hurry and so
Right.
forth. So you're right, it's a very fickle business sometimes, but the good operators, they have it down, and they very careful of their portions, and they take care of a lot of little details, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it's interesting because I think of something like the Great Dane. Well, Great Dane goes in that place off Cottage Grove Road. Before, that place had changed hands, or at least names,
yeah,
4 or 5 times,
sure,
and nothing stuck around for more than a year. Great Dane fires in there, and I don't know much about the back end of Great Dane, but apparently they have something figured out.
yeah,
They've been in there for probably a decade or
well, at
more.
least, yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how, to me, I'm like, this was a brewery before. It was a brewery a couple times over. Somebody invested the money the first time for those tanks
Right,
and all that stuff. That was huge.
right. And then the second round, maybe they get it 50% off.
Right.
And then maybe after that, it's a crazy business.
Yeah, interesting. So I guess I say all that to say, when you were working as a salesperson for the restaurant stuff, you got to see all kinds of stuff. And sometimes it probably had to be a little bit of a challenge to figure out, should I be selling to you? Or
Kevin Kavanaugh was a very careful operator, and we always had certain parameters we'd make sure we'd try to work the best we could. And of course, people slipped through the cracks, but
Sure.
yeah.
It
But the
happens.
thing I enjoyed there is I made some real good friends and friendships with different restaurant owners and restaurateurs, and
Oh, I bet.
and I still had that marketing flair. I always liked marketing, so I would try to help them with their marketing and make them successful.
Oh,
of course,
nice.
Because if they're successful, I could be successful type.
Yeah, as they grow, right, they're going to need
Exactly.
more stuff. so
Exactly, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's very cool. How long were you there?
a couple of years probably.
Okay.
2-3 years. Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
And what was the next step after that?
Well, an opportunity came back to me for I have like ink in the veins. Have you heard that term? It's
I've
a
not.
publishing thing.
All right.
Kind of
Makes
once
sense.
with the newspaper business, you get used to that. So I was the state sales director for the Wisconsin Newspaper Association.
Nice.
So I got to work with the 220 different newspapers in the state of Wisconsin. And,
All right.
And place advertising and work to get advertising placed into their publications. And,
Okay.
And worked with the Press Association for the betterment of the Wisconsin newspapers. And
All right.
Beth Bennett, she's the executive director, does an excellent job. And they do some lobbying also. But the face of newspapers is changing like anything.
Oh, my gosh.
Dairy farms, they used to have, every mile you'd have 3-4 dairy farms. So now you have a dairy farm every 20 miles maybe. So just the changing life of the way things are going. And the newspapers are the same thing. When the school districts consolidate, the little newspaper just can't hang in there and so forth, so they consolidate. So it's just ever-changing
Yeah.
landscape out there.
I was speaking with Diane at the Edgerton Reporter,
Yes.
and I remember talking with her. I actually had her on the podcast,
Okay.
and I was talking with her how it's got to be a tough business to be in because you are expected to just gather the news, which is not free, but society seems to think that it should be supplied for free, which means that it's supported by advertisers
Right.
who may or may not, there may or may not be a conflict of interest with some of those. That's a tough business to be in. Tough to be in that position where you're expected to just provide this public service, so to speak. But even a few years ago, journalists, not everybody was fans of journalists, which seemed kind of odd to me because that's a huge, it's like a staple of a free society, a democracy.
That's just the point of getting my soapbox here a little bit, but if you think about like Watergate, well, Watergate uncovered a real wrong that was happening in the government, and that was done through investigative reporting from the Washington Post, and today that probably couldn't happen near as well because they don't have the news staffs, they don't have the budgets to be able to do that, and that just takes away a little bit of that watchdog in our free society.
Right.
Checks and balances. We have our government set up with checks and balances as well. A good, healthy information gathering that's non-biased should be the backbone of our country. And
Right.
obviously, we've experienced the opposite of that last
Way opposite, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. There's a quote by the Front Door Web Crafters that mentions that. I can't think of what the quote is exactly, but it's essentially it's a free society because they have a free press.
Sure.
That's how you know.
Yeah.
And when you take that away, it's scary.
This morning I
world.
had to laugh. Just for the fun of it, I got on Fox News and checked down there online,
All right.
and then I got on CNN,
Okay.
and they're polar opposites, obviously.
Sure, you're going to get fired up on both directions.
Well, no, I just kind of, and tomorrow is the anniversary of the insurgents that took place in the Capitol a year ago,
Okay.
and Fox News had nothing, not even one crumb about that
Oh, no
happening
mention.
at all.
Okay.
And you open up CNN, and it's just flooded with all that. It's just like, wow. It's just
Right.
So you want to get some, non-biased, good news. That's, you can make your own opinion up. It's just not so easy to get anymore.
I don't know where you go.
Yeah.
I don't know where you go. I feel like there's just puppet masters, and we're trying to watch puppets
Right.
instead of looking at the puppet masters. So
So that's like, I guess I like to go to one and the other to see what the other one is
Right.
talking about. Well, yeah.
checking your weather from different sources, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I remember listening to a book on CD. I want to say by Bob Woodward. Was he one of the journalists?
Yeah,
for-
from Dubuque. Woodward
Yeah.
Communications.
And, oh my gosh, this is very well-written book about his time at the Washington Post. And he had the whole thing where he's, what is this quote? If your wife says she loves you, check the source. So he had this whole thing about how journalists back then had to come up with multiple sources.
Yeah.
And, like, stuff had to be verified and documented to, I don't want to say to a fault, but it was a challenge to come up with a story, or to discover a story, I should say, not come up with one. To discover a story and get the facts, but only the facts kind of thing, without, I guess, it's just challenging, right? You're kind of trying to come up with a story, keep the public informed, but still protect your sources so you can keep getting information and stuff like that. So that's a tightrope to walk.
Yes,
Long tightrope to walk.
it sure is.
Yeah. So that's cool. So you got back into the newspaper business.
Yeah.
And this, just rough timeline, where are we at here time-wise?
The newspaper sales director for the state was about 4 years ago. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So the time that you were in Iowa, the number of newspapers in the Midwest, to that time in the mid-2000s, I mean, I imagine the number of newspapers had dwindled.
Yes. And today, since I left the Wisconsin Newspaper Association, it's the smaller papers keep getting gobbled up by the regional publications, and regional publications by these and so forth and so on. But there's still a lot of these community newspapers are the backbone of their communities. You get your Dodgevilles or your Monroes or different regional centers. Excellent. Monaco has a wonderful paper up there, and they really mirror the community. And they put out a product that the community needs and deserves. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
And are most of them weekly, I imagine?
Yes.
Or bi-weekly?
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
like that? Okay.
Yeah. Right.
All right. And is the subscription, I won't say database, but I guess the number of people that subscribe?
Subscription model, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's dwindling.
Okay.
And because, like, let's say, Dodgeville. Dodgeville, the population 5 years ago might have been 10,000. Well, just through the exodus, Madison's going to grow by 15,000 people this next year. Well, where are those 15,000 people coming from? Probably from the rural areas. So,
All right.
so Dodgeville shrinks a little bit. Well, by shrinking that, the school gets a little bit less, and everything kind of ratchets down. And of course, the newspaper is a mirror to that. So their
All right.
subscription base is going to go down also.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So you hung out there for a couple of years, and then what made you decide to get out of that?
I met with Doug Fearing,
Yeah.
and Doug offered this position.
Okay.
And very intriguing, and technologies in the growth area.
Sure. So 180 from the newspaper side, I suppose,
Well, yeah,
to a point.
to our point, the newspapers are getting a little tougher, and I was placing advertising throughout the state. So I would go to somebody that had the Medicare supplement, let's say, and try to place that Medicare supplement ad into the different newspapers in Wisconsin. Well, with social media, with radio, with TV, with all the other median, they're chasing the advertising dollar. It just, newspapers were really getting to be a tough sell. And there's a place for them, and there's things that can still, work out for newspapers, but placing those orders for advertising statewide was getting challenging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting, I guess, just doubling back to the newspaper thing. I much prefer to read a tangible newspaper than a computer, but I don't. I don't subscribe to a newspaper or anything like that. So It's an interesting conundrum, because where a computer is like, hey, I'm interested in the news today, so I'm going to check out the news from wherever.
The thing about the newspaper versus the computer or the online is, yeah, you can get the basics online, but to get the whole story, to get the in-depth, what's actually happening and the whys, you really, turn to print, and you get I read the Wisconsin State Journal every day. Okay. And spend 45 minutes just kind of going through and understanding kind of the depth of different issues and stories. But online, you get just maybe a paragraph, and that's about it.
Yeah. They're skimming the surface.
Exactly.
Yeah, at best.
Right.
Yeah, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So you come to Fearing's.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, the world is going digital in more than one way, I guess, as far as that goes.
Sure.
So, and that was a few years ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, about 3 years ago. Yep.
All right. And so far, so good?
Yeah. Oh, it's wonderful. Yeah. And like I said, a little bit later here, I'll kind of go through some kind of the unique technologies that we do offer.
Yeah.
Most of the time, you think maybe Fearings would be just a security camera place or just an AV place or whatever, but there's so many different platforms and so forth that we actually work with and solve solutions or find solutions for people.
Yeah.
It's really, really interesting business.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, sure.
Let's talk about just being a salesperson.
Sure.
'Cause you've had a lot of different sales jobs over the decades, and I imagine there's some similarities, and there's probably also some distinct differences, I guess, depending upon your B2C, B2B, maybe just your experience and where you were in life at the given time for the given positions.
Sure.
So let's just talk about, I guess, what you've learned over the course.
Sure. I kind of broke it down, some of the struggles maybe or obstacles I remember very vividly. Being a publisher of a newspaper in Northeast Iowa at 20 years old or 22 or what it was. You're kind of the young kid in the block, and the city fathers and the whatever, they're used to doing it the good old boys way.
All right.
And real quickly they'd kind of challenge this and that and tried to make sure I understood where my place was.
Oh.
Yeah. But
all right.
one of the example was interesting where both local grocery stores got caught in a sting operation. The police department put some kids out that looked like they were 21, but they weren't. And 21 was the drinking age, I think, at that time, and made some citations to different bars and restaurants. And they also went to the two grocery stores, and evening, whatever, and the kids were able to buy beer at the grocery store, and so they got a citation. Well, in our weekly news gathering, that was part of the report, and we put a little article in there about having that in there. Well, the grocery stores, of course, were the bread and butter advertising wise, because they'd bring a quarter of the revenue of the newspaper from the grocery store ads.
Wow. Okay.
So they all of a sudden weren't real happy with our press coverage,
right?
And really didn't expect us to have much coverage, if any at all.
Okay.
And I tried to appease things, and we didn't splash it on the front page or this or that. We put it kind of inside to make a big deal of it, but we did stick with it and ran with it.
Yeah.
And it just things worked out, but it was just made for interesting times.
I bet.
Yeah.
I remember interviewing Peter Egan, who was a writer for Road and Track and Cycle World.
Okay.
And I was asking him about advertisers versus articles on, Yamaha versus Honda or Ford versus Chevy or whatever. And if Ford's throwing you thousands of dollars for a little ad for their Mustang, and you have a Mustang versus Camaro article, is there any bias? And he was talking like, no. And there were some ad guys that got upset because there was an article, I think it was a motorcycle article, Yamaha versus Honda, whatever. And Yamaha or Honda, whoever, threw money at advertising. And so the ad guys that were getting commission off those ads said, you got to change that article or pull the article. And the editor said, no, it stands. And so it's interesting, I guess, like we talked about before, the challenge of supporting your news source with advertising, but also having as non-biased news as you possibly can.
Sure.
That's tough.
Oh, yeah.
It's got to be a challenge. Yeah. And apparently the grocery stores didn't quite understand that.
Well, it's just human nature. Another interesting we had two really strong banks. And page 3 is sought after because that's supposed to be the highest read newspaper page in the paper, because you open it right up and it's the first thing you see when you see page 3.
Oh, okay.
So we'd have a bank run on page 3, and then a couple times we'd have the bank run on page 3 and whatever. And it got to the point where we actually had to keep a chart on who got page 3 on what week, and make sure that each bank was fairly treated as to how many times they got on that page.
Oh, all right.
So it just gives you an idea how in a small town how things are really watched over carefully.
All right.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I suppose they were watching, right?
Oh, sure.
They'll let you know if you did it wrong.
Exactly.
Oh, that's funny. But I'm just picturing the guy with the wax that had to lay out the ads back in the day.
Yep.
So going back to the sales stuff,
Mm-hmm.
I guess, what have you learned over the years?
Well, one of my notes here too, I just kind of learning by fire. Put your feet to the fire and you got to run or you got to, get away from it, whatever.
Yeah.
A lot of times, like I was on the board of directors of the central printing plant.
Okay.
The printing plant in Northeast Iowa, we printed 21 different publications at this plant.
Okay.
And the board of directors, of course, is in charge of all these different decisions and reading P&Ls and making sure this and that and paper mills. And so it was a few late nights trying to understand what was going on and how that was supposed to be and everything, so you'd have an understanding better. The satellite TV business, how you mirror a TV so you can have a TV downstairs with a TV upstairs and how that all integrates and the different channels and how satellite TV works and so forth. So that was a learning curve, of course. We talked about the restaurant equipment sales and kind of knowing the difference between the two different fryers. There's a fryer that you do fish in and one you do French fries in, and why there's a difference.
Don't mix those up.
The sediment that comes out and so forth. And the technology business, we have residential here and we have commercial.
Okay.
So the residential, we're working with home security, we're working with home automation, working with home audio and video solutions, big theaters, home theaters and so forth. And then at commercial side, we're working with, great big AV signs and AV conference rooms and so forth. So that a lot of learning by fire and those things. So that's been part of my mantra is to, always kind of reinvent yourself and kind of try to keep your mind fresh and learning different things.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. What do you do to keep your mind fresh in that regard?
Well, read and dive in. And I've been very fortunate to have a lot of good mentors, a lot of people that take you under their wing and they're anxious to help you out.
All right.
This Chris Mattson, our vice president here, he does an excellent job. Couldn't say enough good about him. And if I were going into a battle, I'd want him right in front of me.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
So he's more or less a leader?
Totally.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We have a sales division here. And
very cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Huh.
And did you know him or know of him before you came on?
I did not, no.
Okay.
No.
So you just got lucky.
I did know Doug Thurman.
Okay, right.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
All right.
And I've noticed throughout the year that there's most everything we do is the people business. You're in the people business, and like any business interactions, they get messy. There's no two ways about it. Just heard today or yesterday maybe, but Matt LaFleur, the Packers coach.
Okay.
And they were talking about how the players really liked him because he listened to them.
Okay.
And he had empathy for them, and they weren't just a player out there banging their heads together. And he would be straightforward in the communication, and he'd tell the good and he'd tell the bad. But the players respected that, and you can see by the success he's had that works. Where you care for your people, and they understand that, and you can't teach that. People have to pick that up, and they have to have that. The other thing I've always tried to work, the premise I've worked off of is the golden goose. Okay. I don't know if it was Zig Ziglar or somebody talked about the golden goose was the goose that laid the golden egg, and the golden egg was where you put an egg underneath let's see, the goose would be you take care of the golden goose. Excuse me here, mixing up two stories. Sure. But the golden goose lays the golden eggs. Okay. All right. And in order to keep getting golden eggs, you have to really take care of that goose, right? Well, the company you work for is your golden goose. And if you take care of the golden goose of the company you work with, it's going to be fruitful for you and in the long run. So the decisions you make, the things that you look to, you always try to make from the purview of what's best for the company, not necessarily what's best for me or what's this, that. But if you live by the mantra that, I'm wanting to do what's best for the company that I'm working for, then everything all should fall in place. So
I like that.
yeah.
I just had to have a conversation with one of my employees about having an us versus them mentality.
Sure.
Or in this case, it was her versus the rest of the crew. I'm like, this is a crew because we're more like a team on a team sport, whether it's football, soccer, something like that. If any one of us falls off or isn't doing our job, either the rest of the team has to recover or make up for that, or you cut that person and get somebody else in there. And when you have that us versus you mentality on the same team, you're going to run into a problem.
Yeah.
So I had a really hard time having her understand that, because I think she was so adamant on survival, almost. And I think a lot of people get stuck in that mentality.
Well, sure. Yeah.
We're like, the goose is there.
Yeah.
Take care of the goose.
Yeah.
Right?
And the other golden is the golden rule, of course.
All right.
And that's just, you treat other people like you want to be treated, and a lot of times things should work out. And once you start forgetting that and don't have that mentality,
Right.
it seems like things don't go quite as well for you. Yeah, and serving, that's very important, is like in selling. I try to have the mindset I'm serving the person, trying to make their life better, because that person, he's listening to one radio station. That's WIFM, what's in it for me. And if you keep that in mind, that they always have that radio station tuned in, and you have that same station, and I have that station. But
Right.
if you come from that premise that you think of what they're listening to, what's in it for them, then things should work out. And
Interesting. I like it.
yeah.
Yeah, I always think, I guess in regards to employees, what do they need to be successful? Because I think of that same, I guess, what's in it for me? I like that analogy. But I always try to figure out, what do they need to be successful, and do they know that they need that? Because they're probably not going to ask. I just found out, when did we find this out? Monday, we had some training the week prior, slow week between Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah, makes sense.
Slow week, they had some training. Training comes up and it goes through all the stuff that they need, including this chunk of software. Monday, one of them says, hey, I don't have that chunk of software. I'm like, where was this question last week when we actually had time to solve that problem? You went through the training and just glossed over.
Yeah.
And I didn't think to ask.
Sure.
Hey, do you have the software? So, interesting. Yeah.
Well, if you learn from it, the next time you
Chalk it up to experience,
There
learn
you
from
go.
it, and move on. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. The other thing that I have a sign that I printed out above my desk and I just 2 words. It's be relentless. And what I do, I'm business development, so I'm constantly trying to get through gatekeepers to get to the architect that I need to talk to, or get to the electrical contractor, or get
Right.
to the owner that owns a big building that might need a conference room, whatever might have you. And the gatekeepers are really good at what they do, and they don't let you in the gate, through the gate. So try to figure out other ways to maybe get to have a conversation with that person, or just work with that gatekeeper again. But being relentless, which you've heard the axiom, what you need 7 touches before you can make a sale.
Yeah.
It sure holds true. As you get down 2 and 3 and 4, you kind of go, oh, this is stupid. But 5 and 6, and all of a sudden somebody. I think a lot of times people get sick of you. Trying to. I try to be tactful, but tactfully intrude on their world, and they'll finally, well, okay, I'll just talk to this guy and whatever.
Yeah.
And that's all I want. I mean, anybody in sales, you just like the opportunity to kind of tell your story, and do your best you can. And if they say that's not for me or that whatever, that's fine. At least you had a chance to kind of interact. But,
Right.
But everybody's so busy, and email's so easy just to look at it, go whoop, click.
Yeah.
So.
Everybody's a potential yes until they tell you no, right?
Yep. Very good.
Yeah. I
Put
like
that in
that.
a book, maybe, huh?
Yeah, right. It's funny. It's funny that we say this today, because my crew, they're trained not to let salespeople through to our clients.
Huh.
But today, somebody got through.
Ah.
They got through to me. And I'm listening to this guy, and in 2 seconds, I'm like, what is this guy trying to sell? But I listened to the call, and he came on trying to be a client, a potential client. Right, so that's how we got in.
Oh. That's a no-no, though.
It's a little
False
slimy.
pretenses,
A
that'll
little slimy.
that'll catch up to you.
But that said, when I realized, like, okay, there's something not right about him, and I thought it wasn't right because he was asking for coaching, or the guy calls on call that sent him over said, hey, there's a guy that's interested in business coaching. So I'm like, okay, send him through, whatever, I'll talk to him. And typically, when I get a call like that, the person goes right into their problems, right? Just like you're going to see a shrink or psychiatrist, whatever. You're just going to be like, these are my problems, right? And this guy was chipper, and he was driven. So I'm like, you don't need a coach. You're good. So something's not right. And he was selling advertising in a golf course book or something like that. But it was interesting enough because I'm like, I got to listen to this guy's pitch.
Yeah.
I'm so curious about, like, one, you got through my gatekeeper.
Yeah.
And two, let me just learn.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I was like, in the end, he was cool. It was all good. A little slimy, but I don't hold him against him. He just played the game to get through.
Sure.
And he's selling golf course advertising, so
Yeah.
it's probably a tougher nut,
Yeah, I'm sure it would be.
especially in January in Wisconsin.
Well, and know your audience. I mean, I like calls on calls. Who's he calling with, right?
He was calling Drawing Customers Business Coaching.
Okay.
But I have calls on call answering my calls.
Business coaching. I suppose golfers, that might be something.
I don't know, if they're on the golf course, they probably don't need a coach. At least if they're on the golf course at Tuesday afternoon, right?
Yeah.
Usually the guy you want to talk to is the one that's drowning, not the guy that's relaxing.
Exactly.
So at least in that business.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so, but he had names of some of the competition from the coaching. So he was kind of trying to draw that, like, oh, these guys are going to be in there. And I'm just like, sure. Sure they are. But it was interesting just listening to his pitch.
Yeah.
Because I've gone through some sales training, and I don't know, I always learned that you just see how far salespeople can get before it raises a flag, or you see how far they can get, even if you're not interested in buying. Sometimes it's just good to learn what they're using, what their tools are, kind of thing. Just like watching a karate competition or something like that. If you're into martial arts, it's fun to see what are they doing for a kick or a punch or something like that.
I remember, and I didn't mean to be a smart aleck about it, but I had a copy machine salesperson come in.
Oh.
And we had just gotten one, or had something, I don't know what it was, and there was no way I was going to, but I sat there for, I don't know, a half hour and kind of listened for the different telltale signs of what that sales process was, and the salesperson did a nice job. I mean, they kept trying to uncover needs and this and that and so forth, and I finally said, this isn't going to work, I don't waste your time, waste my time, but I kind of critiqued how their sales presentation
Oh, that's awesome.
and I tried to do it in a tactful way because it was just interesting to kind of hear how this person was trained, and I'm sure every Monday morning they probably have a sales meeting, and this is how you do it. And,
Yeah.
this is all good.
That's funny. That's so interesting that good salespeople are so in tune and interested in hearing other salespeople's pitches.
Sure.
Or just how they go through. It's interesting. I don't know if it's just being more extroverted in the sales business, you're just aware, or you're not afraid. Where I think some people may close up because they don't want to be sold.
Yeah.
We're just like, there's no way I'm buying from this guy, but I still want to hear what he's got to say.
Sure.
Kind of thing. So, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I had sold life insurance for a company in one of the, I didn't mention that in my litany of things that I did, but
Yeah.
And they had a universal life product, and the way that it was presented to the customer, the insurance, it was life insurance. And life insurance you stuffed with cash so that you'd have this cash at later years. And because of forced savings, you generally have more money in that policy than you would in your passbook savings, because it was a forced, that $50 a month or whatever it would be. So the money would be there 10 years from then. And I had this person that was a professional in downtown. He called me up a day later. And he says, "You sold me insurance." And I said, "Well, yeah." I said it was, a universal, the life product and everything. And he says, "Well, I thought I was buying this investment program."
Oh.
We had such a a training on how to sell this product. That,
Yeah.
The insurance is almost secondary.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
It's
So-
more the sales process versus whatever it is you're selling.
Right.
Oh,
right.
that's kind of funny.
Yeah. you
Oh,
bet.
interesting.
Sure.
All right. What else have you got on that list here? There's all kinds of stuff.
Well, you talk about, sales and what I've kind of picked up through all the different journeys I've had. And one of the things that I have found, I've come to, I guess, is core values. You can work for 10 different companies. 10 different companies have 10 different ways that they're going to run their business. But at the end of the day, those companies that have those core principle values that they are driven by, and they communicate that to the rest of their employees, I really see a value in that. And Fearings is one of those companies. And Fearings, we have a vision statement and we have a mission statement.
All right.
And I just share with you real quickly. The vision statement that we have is to leave a legacy of lasting partnerships and making a difference in the world.
All right.
And we have company meetings, and we get called upon to make sure that we, understand this and recite it and so forth. And then the mission that we have is different than the vision. The mission we have is to deliver a great customer experience and superior project outcome every time.
Oh.
So it really puts pressure on us to do the best job we can for the customer. But those core values are just very, very important, in my opinion, in any kind of process, be it sales, be it accounting, be it whatever you have. So I just would bring those forward.
Yeah, I put the principles that we have for calls on call on our website.
Sure.
It's kind of cool for potential clients to see. It's kind of a you-rah-rah thing, but it was more for just the culture of our business.
Sure.
I told the employees, you got to read through this, and if you have a problem with any one of these, you tell me. Because a lot of them seem like common sense, but there have been times when an employee would do something, and I'm like, you got this principle number 11, whatever, that wasn't taken into account, or something like this, where it's we're not hiding this.
Right.
This is for all the world to see, and because all the world can see it, we're expected to live by it.
Sure.
And you're kind of like,
Yeah.
this is who we are. So if you're not
Reflection of the
willing,
whole company and everybody. Yeah, definitely.
if
So
you're not willing to abide by that, you got to take a walk. Maybe we're not for you.
sure. And I found that basic sales principles, they don't change. I mean, you're going to still
Right.
have a way you can close, a way you can do this, a way you present it, and so forth. But some of the things I picked up, Stephen Covey, I used to listen to Stephen Covey books on tape or whatever in the car all the time. And one of the points that he brought up that was sharpen your saw,
Okay.
which means continually learning, continually understanding and bettering yourself. But you got to sharpen that saw, and on a daily basis. Another one I found, I had, like I said, had sold insurance for an insurance company, and we had this manager that, he'd pound the table and scream and yell and everything. And
At the crew?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
we had
really? Oh, yeah.
Sales meetings. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, good old Pete. But one of the things he said, if you don't start keeping track of numbers, then the numbers aren't going to get any better. But if you start keeping track of numbers, the numbers will get better.
So true.
So it's just a real simple axiom there to live by is, track the numbers and numbers get better.
Yeah, what gets
track the
measured can
numbers.
be improved.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. So
Yeah.
Action coach would be proud, huh?
Yeah, right.
Little plug for them, right?
Yeah, right.
And like I mentioned earlier, that radio station that everybody listens to, that WIFM, what's in it for me. Just, always think the other person's, that's the station they're listening to, and be cognizant of that.
Nice.
Yeah.
So where do you see yourself going in the next, let's call it 5 years? I say 10, but nobody knows where they're going to be in 10. So.
Well, it's a great question, and especially the business that we're in with technology. Technology 2 years ago is different than technology is today.
Right.
In fact, that kind of leads into what I was wanting to kind of share was that some of the unique things that Fearings does that really, I'm sure most people don't have an idea of what that is. I showed you earlier today, we were back in the back, and we have a camera that picks up your body temperature. You look at the camera, and it's going to tell you your exact body temperature. And if it's over a certain temperature, it will not allow you access into a building. The COVID thing and being sick, whatever.
Right.
And 4 or 5 years ago, that would have been ridiculous to have that.
Yeah, why would you have that?
Who would want to buy that? So technology solves a problem, technology is ever evolving, ever changing, of course. And then talk about the mega trends, and there's the meta universe. Have you ever heard about the meta universe coming out? It's a whole deep thing.
Is that the whole Facebook thing, or?
Facebook wants to be a part of it, but
Go on.
I think that would be a whole hour program for you.
Okay.
I just skimmed it the other day, but it's like the goggles you wear for the IR thing, and they actually, Nike's investing into suits that you wear a bodysuit, and it has the goggles and this and that, and it'll take you to downtown New York City, and you can experience walking the streets of New York City and
Oh, wow.
all these things, and you can take vacations and never have to leave because you get the total immersion experience of the heat and the cold and everything.
I think Schwarzenegger had a movie like this, right?
But it's coming down the road, which, the Flintstones had all those different things with the robots and everything
Yeah.
that run in the world. Well, if you go back to the Flintstones, what we're doing today, you get on that cell phone right next to you, and you're doing 3/4 of the things that the Flintstones, or no, the Jetsons, I'm sorry.
The Jetsons, yeah.
The Flintstones was way before that.
Yeah, right? They had dinosaurs doing everything.
That's a good joke out of that one. And some of the other things we have is a gunshot detection system,
Okay.
where in a building, school, let's say, if there's a gunshot fired, we have sensors placed in the building that detects where that came from. So like we've had some tests, like the north hallway of the Baraboo High School, there's a shot been detected, and immediate text goes out to the police, to the administrator, to whoever is supposed to be set up on that, that this gunshot was detected, and if there's a second gunshot in another place, it's going to say a second gunshot's detected and such. And it's just a way to put people on alert, so that they're in those hostile event situations, they have a leg up on what's going on, and it's all pinged to a map and everything. But we've been working with a company called Trinity Gunshot out of Baraboo,
Okay.
that is developing the system,
All right.
and we're working with them in installation and so forth. And we've had some webinars dealing with this subject. And in our society today, it's just a reality. It's like fire alarms were a century ago. There
Right.
weren't fire alarms in buildings, but now that you wouldn't build a building without fire alarms and any occupancy noteworthy.
Yeah, it's weird that that's almost a necessity. That it's even a thought. Hey, if only we would have been known that there was a guy with a gun shooting up the
Yeah,
place.
right.
If you wouldn't. Is that a problem? Maybe the guy with the gun is a problem.
Well,
But that's more of a societal thing than a
Exactly.
immediate threat kind of thing.
right. Hearing loops, we have a system that you can, if you have a hearing aid or a cochlear implant, you walk into a room, we have it in the Wanakee Library, you walk into the room and you don't need to put the earmuffs on or anything, you can just have perfect hearing. By walking into this room, there's a magnetic coil that we put under the floor that's tied to the speaker system, and people get hearing through this hearing loop system. So
All right.
it's one of the technologies we offer that most people probably aren't aware of.
Right.
Right. Laser wayfinding, there's a system that we tie with the gunshot, that if there's an event happening and you need to get out of a building, all of a sudden these red laser arrows will point you out of the building and get you safely away from the gunshot or whatever trouble it might be. So that's another technology we're working with. So
Oh, that's cool.
a lot of things out there that,
Yeah.
like I mentioned, are ever changing and putting us in the forefront of things. And the frustration sometimes is, because we do so many different platforms, having the customers understand that, the reason we do so many is to integrate. You can have a one-shop solution to your video surveillance system, to your access, to your conference room. We can do most of that with our staff. We have a bunch of engineers on staff that help work that through and put those things together. So it's some of the other platforms we work with. Video walls, video conferencing. We're working with the State Historical Society. We've talked to them about an interactive display.
Okay.
Where you walk under this area and there's the ice caves up in northern Wisconsin, and you'll actually feel the cold. You can feel the wind blowing off of the ice caves.
Oh, wow.
You'll hear the ice caves, and then you'll be able to see them. All in this interactive display where you can touch the screen and make different things happen.
Wow.
So those are the kind of things that our engineers can put together, and it's
All right.
kind of fun to look at.
That is cool.
Yeah.
So I guess we don't have a ton of time left here, but I want to ask really quickly from a sales point of view, you have so much that you offer with this specific position, which I suppose is similar to Kavanaugh, where you got a ton, but I imagine in that industry, people knew what they were after. Here, you're like, hey, you got this building, commercial building, decent size. We have this plethora of things. At what point do you introduce that stuff? And I guess versus just saying like, hey, they want access control, the same access control that's been around for 20 years. Do you try to lead them to like, hey, we got this temperature access control or cameras, or how do you balance between we have something better or different
Sure.
versus what they're asking for?
Well, a simple answer is selling is not telling.
Okay.
Selling is a series of, pre-arranged questions.
Mm-hmm.
So the questions is where you discover these things.
Mhm.
And it's kind of interesting, your point of the access systems, we're trained to have those magnetic cards, they're called fobs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anymore, you don't need a fob. You just take your cell phone and twist it,
Mhm.
and it actually grants you access into the building,
Mhm.
and you don't have to carry a fob around. So technology's changed, and we've changed with that.
Mhm.
But if somebody's asking about access into the building, we'll say, well, did you know that there is this newer technology, and explain to them and the cost, benefits, and so forth, and that kind of thing. So it's our job to educate our customers as to
Okay.
what we can help them with and what they're looking to solve for.
All right. Is it a challenge to get them to listen to options?
Not if it's presented correctly. And
Okay.
If you do your homework up front.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's the
Because
key.
I imagine there's a lot of things that you and Fearings offers that people just don't know exist, so they don't know to ask.
Yeah.
Or they don't know, like maybe they're interested in the temperature access control thing. It's probably cool for certain businesses that they wouldn't even know that it's a thing.
Mhm.
Maybe don't know that it's a thing. You have it, they don't know to ask.
Sure.
I asked this question because when I first started Calls on Call, I discovered that the biggest challenge was I was spending a lot of time educating on what we can do versus when I was expecting to do more selling.
Mm.
I felt like the guy selling pizza for the first time in the world. No one's ever heard of pizza. And I'm like, it's round, there's dough, sauce, cheese, blah, blah, blah. And people were like, what? I'm just going to have a sandwich.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, but pizza's so incredible.
Yeah.
Where now people are like, pizza, I know what that is.
Yeah.
But the first guy that's selling pizza had a
Sure.
rough go.
Yeah.
It's always tough to be the first, I guess, as far as that goes, whether
Yeah.
it's for a certain product or service, or just in an area where a lot of other people know, but a certain person you're trying to sell to doesn't know it.
Yeah.
So I guess I was more or less looking for pointers there.
Well, series of good questions and kind of
All right.
and sometimes if you're in a good sales situation, you know the answer, but if you ask the correct questions,
Mhm.
it'll lead to the answers that you know you want them to say.
All right. Yep. I get that.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah, sure.
Well, cool. Well, Tom, before we take off, is there anything else that you wanted to mention?
Well, I think you mentioned some of the things that I like to read and
Yeah.
go through.
Mhm.
One of them I carry with me every place I go. This Dale Carnegie class I took back in 1977 or something like that.
Wow.
And I carry this little golden book of rules, and it's just little things about living a happier life, how to stop worrying, how to remember people's names and so forth. And so that's one of the things. Dale Carnegie, even though 1936 is when he started,
Yeah.
still a lot of it's germane today.
I just shared that book with my manager at Calls on Call.
Okay.
How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yep, that's
Is
the
that right?
book.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Great book. Yeah.
The other one is called The One Thing
Mhm.
by Gary Keller, and it forces you to realize that in our society today we have to do so many things and get
Mhm.
spread so thin, but you have to rope that in and just really concentrate on the one thing that is the most important
Mhm.
to your success or what you want to have happen.
Right.
And
That's
it's
the
so
goal.
much easier to talk about, but this book kind of breaks it down to little pieces where you can actually kind of feel like you get
Mhm.
your arms around a little bit.
Yeah.
And the other one that I really like, there's a Jeb Blount, and it's called Fanatical Prospecting,
All right.
and it talks about prospecting. The thing that is kind of a bonus to this book is that you can actually go, and there's a membership you can get, it's $599 value, his online classes, sales classes.
Okay.
So when you buy the book, you get the sales classes with that.
Oh,
So,
nice.
Really good book.
All
He has-
right.
He has a following and blogs and all that thing. So,
Sure.
just some
I
of
love the title. fanatical prospecting.
Right.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Tom, thank you so much. This has been awesome.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. Thank you, James.
Yeah, good times for all the people that should be or are in sales. Tom is a inspiration to us all, I would think, right?
Well,
I covered some ground.
I covered some ground.
I love it. I love it.
All right.
This has been Authentic Business Adventures, the business program that brings you the struggle stories and triumphant successes of business owners across the land. Authentic Business Adventures is brought to you by Calls on Call, offering call answering and receptionist services for service businesses across the country on the web at callsoncall.com, as well as Draw In Customers Business Coaching, offering business coaching services for entrepreneurs looking for growth on the web at drawincustomers.com. And of course, the Bold Business Book, a book for the entrepreneur and all of us, available wherever fine books are sold. We'd like to thank you, our wonderful listeners, as well as our guest, Tom Johnson, the sales administrator at Fearings Audio, Video, and Security. Bam. Tom, how could people reach you if they wanted to? Is there an email or?
Just go to the Fearings website and be the easiest.
Fearings website, easy enough.
Fearings.com. Fearin, .com.
All right, easy enough. Past episodes can be found morning, noon, and night. The podcast link found at drawincustomers.com. Thank you for listening and watching. We'll see you next week. I want you to stay awesome. And if you do nothing else, enjoy your business.